child comes from a faith-filled environment, he will grow up to be a faith-filled person. Subhanallah. Also, another thing that we need to do too is to encourage the women of our homes to give in charity. And a lot of Muslim men don't do this. Let me emphasize this, because we can't emphasize this enough. I tell you guys all the time how the Prophet ﷺ looked into hell, and he saw that the majority of the inhabitants of the hellfire are women. Why? Because of their ungratefulness. We are some ungrateful creatures. A man can give you everything in the world, and he makes you mad one time, and you'll sit there and say, "You never do anything for me." We all do this. And also we women, we suffer from emotional problems. We like to gossip. We like to backbite. We slander. We're also jealous creatures too. We become easily jealous of others. Okay? So for these reasons and more, this is why we will make up the hellfire. And also, as a result of that, a way of counteracting that, the Prophet encouraged us women to give in charity. We have a beautiful hadith where the Prophet ﷺ looked into the hellfire and saw that its inhabitants were women. He then gave a talk to the women. He said, "Oh women, give in charity, because I have seen that you form the majority of the inhabitants of hell." Okay? So we need to encourage our wives, encourage our daughters to give in charity, to be giving, because this giving and charity will make up for these bad deeds we do with our mouths, our tongue, and etc. And one of the good ideas that people come up with nowadays, a new idea that many people do, and I've seen this too in some of the families' households that I went to visit when I was in Texas, a lot of people now have a zakat box or a sadaqah box that they put in the home. Like your piggy bank. You know how the Kafirs have piggy banks to add for their kids, their children keep piggy banks? Well, now Muslims keep zakat boxes in their house. And encourage your children, especially your women and your wives and daughters, to put charity in that box. And then when the box fills up, you take it and give it to the needy or the poor. Okay? This is a good idea. This is part of spiritually training your family members. Okay, so we might want to try that this Ramadan. Make a zakat box, keep it in the house, and encourage your children, especially your daughters and your wives, to put their charity in that box. When it fills up, you take it to the mosque and give it to the needy Muslims. Okay? Another way to make the home faith-filled is through dua. Through dua. What is dua? Dua is a talk between you and Allah. Dua is a talk between you and Allah. And I tell you guys a lot here at the website, and you need to encourage it with your family members, that Allah never gets tired of hearing you talk to Him. Allah commands us to call upon Him and to talk to Him. The Prophet ﷺ said, when any of you enters your home and mentions the name of Allah when you enter it, and mentions the name of Allah when you eat, the shaitan will say that they have no place to stay here, and they have nothing to eat here. And if the shaitan happens to have followed you, he leaves. But if you enter the house and you do not mention the name of Allah, and if there is a shaitan following you, he does have a place to stay. And if you don't mention Allah's name before you eat, the shaitan will eat from your food. So again, you want to teach your children and your wives and family members, to get in the habit of making dua, because dua serves as a protection for you against the shaitan, and it's also a great action of remembrance. It's a great action of remembrance of Allah. Also, the Prophet ﷺ said, if a man goes out of his house and says, in the name of Allah, I put my trust in Allah, there is no help and no strength except in Allah, then it will be said to him, this will take care of you. You are guided. You have what you need and you are protected. And the shaitan will stay away from him. And another shaitan will say to him, what can you do with a man who is guided, provided for, and protected by Allah? Subhanallah. So many people talk about how much they fear the jinn. We're so afraid of the jinn possessing us. We're so afraid of the evil eye. We're so afraid of somebody doing magic on us. Subhanallah, this simple dua right here will protect you from any of that. Because no shaitan can harm you if you recite this dua when you leave your house. And again, these are things that you need to teach your children, because you're teaching your children to remember Allah. And this is adding to a faith-filled environment, okay? Whenever we remember Allah, we attract the angels. And whenever we fail to remember Him, this is when we attract the jinn or the shayateen, okay? Also, another way to increase the faith in your home is through reciting Surah Baqarah or playing the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ said, do not make your houses into graves. The shaitan run away from a house in which Surah Al-Baqarah is recited. So this is why we play Surah Al-Baqarah all the time at this website. Okay? Also, the Prophet ﷺ said, recite Surah Al-Baqarah in your houses, because shaitan does not enter a house in which Surah Al-Baqarah is recited. In fact, he will stay away from your home for 3 days. If shaitan hears Surah Al-Baqarah being recited in your home, he will walk past your house and will not come near it for 3 days. And any jinns that are in your house will get out of there. They'll run out. So thus, guys, these are some of the things that we can do that will cause our home to become a faith-filled home. And again, this is just the second step. The second step in establishing the Islamic household.
جزى الله أصحاب النبي محمد جميعا كما كانوا له خير صاحبي وآل رسول الله لا زال أمرهم قويما على إرغام أنف النواصب. جزى الله أصحاب النبي محمد جميعا كما كانوا له خير صاحبي وآل رسول الله لا زال أمرهم قويما على إرغام أنف النواصب. 3 خصال من تعجيب ربنا نجابة أعقاب لوالد طالب خلافة عباس ودين نبينا تزايد في الأقطار من كل جانب.